Well, the sheer numbers of birds on this earth, and no one really knows how many, has been estimated at 100 billion. What we're seeing is some of the more adaptable species, starlings and pigeons and sparrows, are increasing in numbers, and some of the non-social birds, including many raptors, that have specific needs for open space and prey base, whatever, those numbers are going down.
What do you mean non-social birds?
I mean birds that are, that will not live next to you or in the city. They'd have to have privacy to raise their young and to be comfortable, where pigeons live at every McDonald's store and every building.
Nothing against McDonald's, of course, is just a euphemism.
Yeah. Every store.
McDonald's type store.
But the point is, the numbers I don't think have terribly decreased, but the speciation is in trouble. The number of species.
But the bald eagles have increased, have I heard?
Yes.
Is that true?
That is indeed true. But of course, that's a really special bird, John. I mean, the national symbol. And even when raptors, hawks, and most species of hawks and owls were not protected by law prior to '72, to the Migratory Bird Treaty Act was enacted, bald eagles had special protection. But they still suffered from our being here on this planet with them. And one of the sufferings, long-term sufferings, was DDT and the metabolites of DDT that caused thin egg syndrome, and the birds were not breeding or producing young. So that bird, because of special care and because of the understanding that we must protect a bird that's our national treasure, our national symbol, that bird probably in the last 25 years has tripled in numbers. So that's a good story, and there are lots of good stories. They're not all bad stories. But
we'll take a look at some.
Yeah, we'll take a look. We'll wander. In fact, talking about the bald eagle, we have one right down here. We'll get a look at her. She came from Sitka, Alaska. She's been here 22 years. They live a long time, certainly in cages when I protect them, they do.
I've never heard of Sitka. Have you, Mayor? Sitka, Alaska?
Yeah, there's a big raptor center in Sitka.
I got my geography teacher at Plainfield High School.
Let's just walk over this way. You can see the eagle. She's on display here, of course. She's a large economy-size eagle. This is our national symbol, as you know, Mr. Mayor, and I actually had two that were sent from Sitka many years ago. The male died, I think, of old age. She's 20-something because she was an adult when she came, but I've had her over 20 years, and they're pretty magnificent birds. She's a beautiful thing, yeah. She's only got one eye, so that's the reason she's in a cage and not free.
And how do you feed the bald eagle?
Feed them?
Yeah.
Oh, just bring fish to her. Have guys that go around, daily and clean and feed. We feed twice a day, actually, because the diurnal birds, the hawks, eat during the daylight.
What kind of fish?
Oh, let's see, what do we got this week?
Special of the day.
The special. They like whiting. They like whiting, yeah, exactly. Or what one of my fisherman buddies catches and brings. But moss bunker, they'll eat almost
any kind.
Yeah.
Or is there fish they won't eat?
Some they like better than others, but I think in the wild, probably not.
Okay.
But they get a little spoiled. Yeah, exactly. There are some fish that I don't like.
Have like lobster night, do you?
No. But she's a beautiful thing, and many people come here specifically to see this bird because you can get close to her. She sits on these perches within 10 feet of people, and they've filmed her and photographed her and drawn her for all the years she's been here. So, yeah, we think that by keeping some of the birds that would normally have been euthanized, that cannot be released, that's an educational effort on our part too. I think everybody that comes here, George, gets educated. I certainly hope.
No doubt about it.
I hope so.
I think that's one of the primary focuses of the institution is education. I know every time I bring my kids here, we learn something new, and that's important to educate people because it supports the cause. It brings awareness
of course.
to the problems, and in fact, that's one of the things we're most proud of, the Raptor Trust, is that it really fits into Long Hill Township. And, you know, we were talking about environmental issues, and we are very dedicated to, you know, protecting our environment. Half of our township is, you know, open space, and so having the Raptor Trust here is perfect. It's a perfect fit for our township.
Well, it's a symbiotic relationship, I hope. It's been good for us, it's been good for the town, and good for the birds. 85,000 birds have come here in need of help.
And it's appropriate to have the American flag right outside.
Oh, of course, yeah.
American bald eagle.
And this cage was memorialized for one of the heroes of 9/11, who gave his life saving people. His name was Rick Riscorla, and his wife has become a personal friend of mine. It's snowing, actually, isn't it?
Really?
But yeah, it is.
Anything can happen at the Raptor.
Yeah. Don't blame us for the weather. Come on, we'll take a walk, and it kind of meanders around. It's a circuitous route that we'll take, but this cage right in back in front of us and in back of the cameraman contains a snowy owl. This is another Arctic bird that has been here for many, many years.
And what's the history of this snowy owl?
It was injured in Canada, I think in British Columbia, Canada, and sent through the network of rehabilitators in North America to a place in Vineland, Ontario, Canada. It became superfluous to their needs as an educational bird or as a display bird, and they contacted me, and I drove to Canada and brought this bird back with me. And it's been here for years.
And is this a nocturnal bird as well?
It's actually crepuscular.
Yeah,
Which
there's a word
I'm sorry. Oh no, never mind. That's one for Scrabble.
Use it in a sentence. Go ahead there. Go ahead.
This owl is crepuscular.
I see. So that's an adjective or an adverb?
It can be either. But the point is that snowy owls that live so far north, they live at the top of the world. They live at the Arctic, inside the Arctic Circle, where it is daylight 6 months of the year and then darker 6 months of the year. And so they have adapted over 14 million years.
And is that the word you
That's
use?
the crepuscular. They're active at daylight and twilight. A lot of insects are crepuscular. That's the only time you see them. You don't see them in the broad daylight. You don't see them in pitch dark. So this is a crepuscular. So there's three time frames that owls and hawks and other wild creatures fill. They can be day creatures. They can be night creatures.
That's
Nocturnal, or they can be day and night creatures, and they're crepuscular.
Is there a word for just day creatures?
Diurnal. Diurnal, nocturnal. Yeah.
I told you this place was educational.
That's exactly right. At least you leave with 3 new words.
Good. Good for Scrabble. That's a good one.
At the Raptor Trust, they also have superb educational seminars for students throughout the district and throughout the state, and you're going to see one of those lectures or part of that lecture today.
Now, I think you guys might know what kind of a raptor this is. Because you did walk around, and there happens to be something in this room that might remind you what kind of a raptor it is. And they're fluffy, and when they're babies, they're yellow in color. And the person who found her decided that they were going to keep her. Now, I remember, do you remember me telling you that it's against the law to keep wild birds? Well, what happens is people don't realize that when they take this bird back and they put it in a wire cage, that the bird doesn't want to be in a wire cage. And the bird...
This is another Arctic owl that came from British Columbia, Canada. And I don't know that we can see her too good. This is a great gray owl, and I'm not sure how we're going to see her out from outside, so take my word for it, she's in there. Maybe I'll go move her over.
Well, I guess I got too close to the rare owl. As you can see, I guess the owl treated me the way I guess, unfortunately, some citizens feel about politicians. I'll let you draw your own conclusion as to what occurred out here. But Len, I really appreciate inviting us up to the Raptor Trust here. And Is there anything else you need me to do? Stand under any other birds? That's great. You're only on live TV do you get this, okay? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.